Hello there. Have we just got ourselves out of one union only to find we're going gradually into another? Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily, and a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. Now, most people are aware that all countries run their own central bank for the sake of internal economic stability. We've got the Bank of England, the US has the Federal Reserve, Germany, France, Australia, China, they've all got one, and the EU has the European Central Bank too. And in the US, states have central banks as well. So you get the idea that central banks are essential for the smooth running of the economy, or more precisely, for the smooth running of how the economy is set up today. But did you know there's a central bank of central banks? And this is the Bank of International Settlements, or BIS, based in Switzerland. The BIS is wholly owned by 63 other central banks, one of which is the Bank of England. And it looks like the majority of EU and EEA countries are also involved, as well as the US, Korea, China, Vietnam, Turkey, Thailand, Japan, Israel and Switzerland, and many, many more. Now, the BIS has two principal activities: economic analysis and banking. And it has two regional offices, one for Asia and the Pacific in Hong Kong and one for the Americas in Mexico City. The BIS has been around since 1936, but in 2019 it was decided that the BIS would expand its operations, so it is opening what it calls innovation hubs in 4 new locations. And in a June 2020 press release, BIS said that these would be Toronto, London, Frankfurt and Paris and Stockholm, as well as a strategic partnership in New York. So that looks like the US, the EU and Brexit UK. And on top of Switzerland, the BIS already has Innovation Hub presence in Hong Kong and Singapore. But what surprised me is that I couldn't find much mention of this in mainstream press. Wonder why not? And things look to be moving ahead quite fast on this, because a statutory instrument was issued in the last few days to put the BIS, its governors and staff on the immunity from prosecution list. And I also managed to find a draft treaty between the UK and BIS laying out the establishment of the Bank for International Settlements Innovation Hub, or BISIH, in London. Yes, a draft treaty. And the treaty talks about immunity and says the bank and its staff will pay no tax here, will be immune from prosecution, and the UK shall guarantee to the BIS, including its BISIH London Centre, the autonomy and freedom of action necessary to carry out its official activities. And also, the premises shall be inviolable. No official of the UK or person exercising any public authority, whether administrative, judicial, military or police, shall enter the premises unless permission to do so has been given by the General Manager of the BIS, the Deputy General Manager of the BIS, the head of the BISIH London Centre, or their duly authorised representative notified to the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office Protocol. All standard procedure, I'm sure. So what's this Innovation Hub going to be doing? Well, here's some of the stuff the BIS itself talks about. And it asks the question, why was the hub set up? Technology-driven innovation in financial services is accelerating and will have major consequences for global financial systems and central banks. The IT revolution has repercussions in multiple locations simultaneously. Central banks can achieve economies of scale by working together. And it's that last one that got me wondering. And in a podcast, the interim head at the time, BIS Head of Research Huan Song Shin, said that the hub would do 3 things. identify and develop in-depth insights into critical trends in technology affecting central banks, serve as a focal point for a network of central bank experts on innovation. But the third is to develop central bank public goods in financial technology that will improve the functioning of the global financial system. And these public goods are things that we can all use without our use diminishing anyone else's ability to use them too, like clean air, clean drinking water and the internet. So, more public goods for everyone, it seems. Well, there goes capitalism then. And he said that the Swiss hub would be working on what's called tokenization of the securities market, allowing all trading and settlement of securities on one platform. The Hong Kong Centre will develop a DLT-based platform to streamline processes for trade finance. It will also examine the opportunities and challenges that big tech poses for financial markets. The Singapore Centre will explore the use of new technologies in big data and machine learning in applications to financial supervision. This field is known as SupTech, he said. Then there's talk about building digital infrastructures for society using national ID numbers. Now, I may be wrong, but this sounds to me like a drive for 63 banking areas to use the same systems and rules. And the BIS envisages central banks pooling resources with, as Huan Song-Shin says, the objective is to ensure that the whole is more than the sum of the parts. Now, I said that Shin was the interim head of the BIS hub, but he has been replaced by Benoit Cœuré, who previously sat on the executive board of the European Central Bank. Now, me being a cynic, you'd never have known that, would you? Me being a cynic, I look at this and see similarities in how the EU came into being. I do so hope I'm wrong. Now, as I said earlier, central banks are important for the stability of our economy. They deal with market-moving information and make market-moving decisions. Should a central bank be compromised in any way, it could damage the nation financially, as well as make undeserving people extremely wealthy, or wealthier. And all this collaboration, pooling of resources and expertise might sound fine, but remember, one of the players is Hong Kong, which is now just about part of mainland communist China. Wonder if they'll be using Huawei electronics. Then there's the EU angle. We'll potentially be collaborating, pooling resources and sharing data with the ECB. But I hear that we won't be sharing speeding ticket data with the European Union. Anyway, the Governor of the Bank of England said last year, "Now more than ever it is important the central banking community does all it can to build a more effective, resilient and inclusive financial system, and technology is an important part of that effort." And the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, called it fantastic and said, "It represents an invaluable opportunity to connect the expertise of the world's central banks, working collaboratively on innovative new ways to enhance financial services." But as I said earlier, none of this appears to have found its way into the mainstream press for some reason. Maybe there was too much Brexit and too much pandemic around to give it space. Now, I'm no expert, but overall to me, we seem to be participating in a project with woolly aims and no defined limits that I can see. But what do you think? Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below, and support me on Patreon or PayPal. And of course, please share and comment. And thank you for watching.